Welcome back to that Heartbreak Hogs podcast where they're playing basketball. I hope that comes out all right. I was like, I got to do it. I got to do it. But yeah, those Hogs are playing basketball, and we're here to talk about it. But first, Sid, we've got to tell anybody who is new here to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know how we are doing down in the comment sections. We'd love to hear what you guys think about our takes on this basketball team. We also covered the Razorbacks football team. We're super excited about that Ole Miss game coming up. We also do, for college football, weekly picks for the rest of the games on the college football slate. Mainly top 25, but there's a few other games that we do pick week to week. And we do a challenge where the loser will eat something spicy like serrano peppers or a hot wing from a specific restaurant. And we do that week to week. It's a lot of fun. Please join us there. And with that being said, we're going to jump back into this and talk about that basketball team. Sid, how stoked were you, man, to see a good old-fashioned beep whooping of Kansas?
Okay, listen. Of course, I was very excited, and of course, I'm very excited for the basketball season to start up. Then I see a text, and I'm psyched. They were dominating this game. Then I see a text from from you, Ross, that goes,
What did I
"Natty,
say?
natty or bust." Natty or bust. When we talked about this game before the exhibition game last week, when we mentioned, hey, let's hold our expectations. This is just an exhibition game. Let's see how these players do. Immediately, I see Ross go natty or bust,
Hey,
and
man.
I was like, I see you're holding your expectations to a normal level.
Hey, man. Let's not overreact here, but natty or bust. Dude, I had so much fun on Twitter. The Heartbreak Hogs podcast, we were over on Twitter commenting on all sorts of stuff, saying things like natty or bust, not going to overreact, but natty, and all sorts of fun things going on. I think I ticked off some Kentucky fan base, uh, people in the Kentucky fan base, because they thought I was being serious, because there was a comment from Bill Self that said that he thought this was one of the best or one of the better John Calipari teams. Um, and we'd gone in there and commented and said that he meant to say better than all the former Kentucky former Kentucky teams, and some Kentucky fans went wild on that comment. They were not happy. I had to clarify that I was just making some overreaction jokes, and I had to sizzle down the fire a little bit. So it's a
Hey,
lot
if
of
they're taking
fun.
it seriously after an exhibition game and can't tell a joke, that's
I
on them.
know. I know. Oh man, it's fun. Um, I really want to do overreactions, but Sid brought this up in the last video that we did prior to this game. We beat Purdue last year in an exhibition game, and the season did not go as expected. I'm not predicting that. I'm stoked for this team. I think there's a lot of teamwork. I think that they look great. They look athletic. They are dogs. They fight. And I'm stoked, man. I really am. And yeah, I was impressed, dude. I mean, they completely out athleted Kansas, who is
Mhm.
filled with 5 stars and big talented roster, and we just looked beyond like anything that they had. I know they were missing a couple guys, but we
That's what
were
I was about to
too.
say.
and
Yeah.
and also John L. Davis, he hadn't practiced for weeks. Brazil hadn't practiced for a little while. Adu was out. Thiero, you know, he was out for a while. I don't think he was expected to play. And so yeah, both Thiero and John L. Davis, they were not expected to play. Nelly Davis, by the way, they
Hmm.
were not expected to play. So they looked all phenomenal. Nelly looked a little rusty, but I'm sure he'll get it figured out. But something also real quick, and I'll let you get to your takes too, Sid.
Yeah.
But one last thing I wanted to point out is the thing about exhibition games is the coaches kind of plan what they're going to do with each other. Like in this game, Cal specifically asked Coach Self not to run offensives that he runs against zone because Arkansas has not gotten to practice a zone defense. That's why all of the game it was man-to-man coverage, and that was by design. So was this a real game type atmosphere? No. Were both teams trying really hard to win? Yes. So did Arkansas look like the better team? Yes. Are we super stoked? Yes. So with that, I'll let you get to it, Sid. What you got?
Yes. To everything that you said, um, exhibition game, players being out, our players, their players. I know there's were some key players from that made a run last year, um, and are being just going into this game with my expectations we had talked about was how our players gel together, how they're able to kind of play team basketball and kind of move the ball around. To that aspect, I'm very excited because that's exactly what I saw. Them move like we had key guys that kind of showed that they could be the leaders of the team, key star guys, right?
Yep.
But then moving the ball around so confidently
Mm-hmm.
between one another, trusting one another, that's what I love to see. And overall, this team, I mean, um, like played great. Before I get into like each individual players, how cool was that slobbering hog
Dude, it looks
on
so
that
awesome,
floor,
man.
dude?
That
That
looks
was
so
sick.
cool. Yeah.
That was sick. And then for another team to go into that Arkansas, we've been in that atmosphere. A sold
Mm-hmm.
out crowd, even if it's an exhibition game, a
Dude,
sold out
it looked
crowd
wild,
behind that
man.
hype, behind the hype of this year of Calipari. I know we had that last year, and last year Purdue
Mm-hmm.
game was sold out too. I feel like this was just like a different atmosphere,
Yeah.
a different feel to it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what these teams that are come into Bud Walton, that's what they can expect this year because it's going to be every single game that is sold out, every single game that's this atmosphere this season. So I saw somewhere that that's where um, some KU fans that were like, oh well, or critiques that were like, hey, Jayhawks have got to figure it out because they're gonna go into the atmospheres
Mm-hmm.
all season long. I don't know. I mean, this Bud Walton team
That's
feels
a tough
different,
one.
and that when that crowd's buzzing, it's hard to turn it around
Yeah.
for the other team.
I'd be really interested to see what those Duke players thought of the atmosphere too, compared to because Duke, they play like at North Carolina, stuff
Yeah,
like that. And obviously their arena gets loud too.
for
I'd
sure.
really like to
Absolutely. Yeah.
kind of hear the comparison, what they thought of the atmosphere, what Purdue thought of the atmosphere whenever they came down, and
Hmm.
just what the Kansas players are going to say at the end of the year. They're going to be
Right.
like, "Man, dude, the craziest place we ever went was an exhibition game."
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And I hope this whole season, I hope that the fans just bring it as much as they did for that game. And I know they will, but moving on from that, let's go into the players. Some of the players that we were expecting to do
Mhm.
well, and I'll let you go first, actually, to see the players that you had talked about and how they performed, and kind of other players that kind of weren't expecting much, but then did okay as well.
Yeah, my question marks were DJ Wagner, I think, was one of them, but it was mainly Brazil.
Yeah,
And
I
I
remember
I
that.
Brazil to me, it's like, does he look different? Does his
Right.
role look different? And it did a little bit. Um, it looked like that he was down low more. He didn't shoot any threes. Um, and he still looked pretty similar to what he's been under Musselman, but it did look slightly different. And I think he had an injury as well. So he hasn't really been on the court a whole bunch. And none of these guys have been. Their roles may look completely different by the
Mhm.
end of this year. But Brazil did not look bad. He looked awesome. He had some sick dunks. He did take some good shots. His free throw shooting, I think he did really well at the free throw line too. I think we shot about 80 something percent at the free throw line, which is awesome. Um, and Boogie Fland, I didn't really know what to expect from him. You had mentioned him. You were pretty stoked about him.
Mhm.
I just, whenever it comes to freshmen and stuff, and especially like after the Nick Smith stuff, I've been like,
Yeah.
I got to see it. I got to see it. But Boogie, he looks all of him, man. He looks phenomenal. And then DJ Wagner, I'm so glad that, excuse me. Excuse me. DJ Wagner, I'm glad that he and Boogie Fland can play at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other because
Yeah.
they are both awesome, man. They look great together. They are a great duo. There's time that Boogie will dish it to Wagner. Wagner will pull up for three, bang. He'll dish it to Boogie, bang. They looked great as a duo, man. And so many people were thinking it has to be one or the other. They're not playing the same time. Boogie's not coming off the bench. Wagner's
Right.
not coming off the bench. No, none of them have to come off the bench. They can both be out there. My one thing is please, 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 Wagner and Brazil, please stay healthy. Please stay healthy, man. That's the only thing that I have because if Brazil
And
starts
Boogie too. I mean,
in Boogie too,
yeah, because
yeah.
he's
But
yeah
I'm mainly about the guys that are injury prone, like have a history of it.
that have a history. I got you.
Yeah. And Wagner only has 1 year history of it, but still there's something there. Because here's the issue: if Brazil goes out with injuries and then say Adu gets a minor injury or something like that, you're down to only Big Z. Like you've got only
Yeah.
Big Z. So if one person is, going to be injured, fairly a lot, then you can't risk somebody else getting temporarily injured. If that makes sense. I hope I'm putting that out there right. But it's just I really hope that these guys stay healthy. I hope Brazil takes care of himself. He puts on some muscle and he's durable out there. Same with Wagner. I hope they're both durable because I think that it can really make or break this season based off of the health of this team. Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking, Sid?
No, some of the players that you mentioned. I mean, Boogie Fland. It's a freshman. I mean, he again exhibition game.
Yeah.
Keep it expectations, hopes in check. But
Natty or
he
bust.
looked amazing, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait for this season to see him out on that floor, kind of controlling this team and kind of controlling the pace of play and just kind of dominating. And it was cool to see, as you said, DJ Wagner and them both kind of working together and
Yep.
instead of kind of being a hero ball, right? This is mine or whatever. No, just to get play the best of your ability. It kind of showed me from this game that they played to the best of their ability
Yep.
and not just from hero ball, but from assists, from turnovers, getting
Right.
steals, actually like making plays happen for the team. And that's what I am very excited to see and
Teamwork.
was very excited to see just kind of moving the ball around. Another guy which thought was we had brought up as well. I'm gonna mispronounce his last name for sure. The Ivisic, is that right?
Oh, Big Z.
Yeah, Big Z. Um, him knocking down threes, cool, so cool to see. I mean, that's just an added level of threat for to go
Right.
against this team. For
And it's
he's able
better
to
than
just
Brazil. Like he's a
yeah,
better 3-point shooter than Brazil where you don't have
exactly.
to have
He was
Brazil out there, you know.
exactly, and it was just cool to see him just knocking down some threes. And
Mhm.
overall, I think we had a solid performance to do. Carter Knox, I think everyone just kind of gelled together, but standouts obviously
Carter
Boogie
Knox
Fland.
actually, yeah, he man, it was hard for him to get any attention because of how many other
Yeah,
guys were doing
we're
so
kind of
much, but
in the
he
play.
looks solid too, and he's a freshman. He looks
Yeah, I mean
solid. He made some plays. He had an
yeah,
and one too,
exactly.
I think. He had a really
Yeah,
nice and one, I believe.
and I think you talked about this earlier, but the free throws,
Mhm.
just knocking down your free throws is going to be very important. We know how huge free throws are,
Yeah.
um, and not just for when we get to the March Madness and brackets, but like the whole season. Just that confidence in knocking down free throws is going to be very important. I mean, there's a big reason why Kansas looked bad too. I think was their free throws.
Mhm.
I was looking at it and they were at 40% for overall for the game at their on
God.
their free throws compared
Yeah,
to
we
our
doubled.
82.1. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so just kind of getting those easy points is very,
That's a lot of
very
points
important.
too.
And
That's
then
a lot of points that Kansas left off the board.
yeah, yeah, a lot of points. And then just dumb turnovers
Mhm.
from their end, which I hope keeps happening. I
Yep.
mean, Boogie Fan had how many steals? I think it
Yeah,
was like
like 5 or
6.
something.
That's
Yeah.
6 steals.
Wow. Dude, it and like dude, the back-to-back turnovers whenever Kansas was kind of coming back in, they cut the lead down to 12 whenever it had been like 18 or something. And then
Yeah.
back-to-back steals, Fland got a steal, and then I think it was Wagner or somebody. I can't remember who the other one was that got another steal, but
Yeah,
it was
Wagner got a
just
steal
so great
too,
to see,
which
man.
was cool because this was the Wagner steal was like not too long after Boogie's steal, which was cool. One of his steals, I guess.
Yeah, one of
Um,
one of the
one
six.
of the 6. um, no, overall, this team does deserve the hype.
I
I
know,
will say
man.
this.
Natty
Does
or
deserve
bust,
the
bro.
hype.
Natty or bust. No, just kidding.
Let's
Oh,
see. Let's see what their schedule looks like, and then like we'll go how the season starts off. Hope we're able to keep it rolling.
yep. But Sid, I gotta ask you, man. Early on, or we did our little predictions, or not predictions, but
Yeah.
expectations before seeing the game. And for me, it was get to the Sweet 16. If you get past the Sweet 16, for me, that's a success. If you
Hmm.
get there, you met the benchmark. If you don't get there, I'll be fairly disappointed. With what talent we have on this roster, the experience they have already with Cal, the resources that Cal has, um, that was my expectations moving forward, or preseason. I'm not gonna overreact and move that. I'm gonna stick with that for now.
Okay.
Can you remind everybody what your original expectations were, and have you moved your expectations at all since watching this game?
Yeah. No, I my expectations and what I had said it remains the same. Where I had said we're a long way away from March Madness.
Yep.
Anything can happen in March in that tournament. I want to see how this season plays out. How we're able to perform in games that we need, like we should win in, um, and just kind of how this season plays out. Now, if we like if my hands are tied and we have to talk about the March Madness right now,
Yeah,
and the super early expectations,
that's what we're
yes,
doing.
and
Let's do
but
it.
this can be brought on, be like, hey, you remember that
Yeah, yeah.
after
Remember
that
that time you said we were gonna make the Final Four
exactly after the exhibition game,
after the
and when you had
exhibition?
not seen a single play for the regular season, yeah. But counting all that, just talking about, let's see, off the exhibition game, how they're able to move as a team.
Yeah.
This team, with the confidence, with how they're able to gel as a team throughout the season, should be able to make it to, I would say, at least the Elite Eight. And
Okay.
that's where I'm going to predict right now. Um, Again, anything can happen in March, but I think if were able to play and play together and not play hero ball
Yeah.
in that tournament and
And
make
stay
these free
healthy.
throws and stay healthy, key part, healthy, yes. Um, and make these free throws in the tournament and kind of just build that confidence throughout the season in themselves. Yeah, of
Dangerous.
course, we should be a high seeded team for the tournament, not
Yeah.
just make the Elite Eight, but should be a high seeded team for this
Mm-hmm.
season.
Have a nice little path paved for
Right.
us.
Why not be
Mm-hmm.
number one?
Yeah. Why not, Sid? Why not be a one
Why
seed?
not?
Man, that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll do this week by week. I don't know if we're gonna do game by game. We do game by game for football, but it might be kind of hard for basketball because sometimes you have 2 games a week. We're gonna probably do week by week and kind of recap both games. The good news is we play Baylor in in game 2, so the big games come a little
Yeah.
early. So we'll kind of know where we're at after playing Baylor. But Sid, is there anything else that you want to add in here before we move on to the next segment?
No, I'm glad we played well, and I hope this shows the people that ranked us 16
Yeah.
um something. I know it's exhibition game again, keep saying this, but I hope that shows them something that they were
Yep.
wrong. um but yeah, we'll see how the season plays out, man.
Yep. Yep. Let's prove those doubters wrong. And with that being said, please like this video, subscribe to the content, and comment down below with your thoughts. What were your thoughts over the exhibition? Have Has the exhibition game changed your views on or your expectations of where these Hogs are going to go? And if you want to follow more football content, we do that too. So check out those videos as well. With that being said, that Heartbreak Hogs podcast will be heading out, and we'll see you guys in the next segment.
See y'all.